I don't get it. I really don't understand it, but that is a technique. And that may be what's going on here today, and it might be instructive to read her essay, which is linked to in the chat. But at any rate, there's now a rollback on some of those tariffs. There's another major rollback that we're going to get to in just a second. Ukraine peace talks are scheduled in Saudi Arabia for next week. That's also something that the Associated Press reported on. And then the one that I think started it all off for me this afternoon, and that is Trump clips Musk's wings. And he's put new limits on Elon Musk. It's so-called Doge, and I say so-called because they call it a department, but it really isn't a department. No longer will unilaterally make cuts to any government agency. They will make recommendations for cuts, and that it will be up to the various agency heads and cabinet members to decide which one of those cuts or how many of those cuts ought to be adopted. However, even as the president explained to reporters, and by the way, this was a cabinet meeting that he presided over, and Musk was there, where he announced this change in policy. But even with that, he does leave the door open for Musk to go back to unilaterally cutting the various budgets. He said we have capable people who are in the positions, who are in a good position to look at these recommendations that come from Doge and decide how to implement them or whether to implement them. But if they fail to take the kind of action that he believes is necessary, he will give the power back to Musk to do it himself. And this also, I believe, speaks to what Dr. Francine wrote in her essay. You push, 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 and then when there is pushback to your pushing out, then you retreat to a position that is palatable more so to, the general population in this case, maybe to his cabinet heads who are saying, Mr. President, please let me run my department. I was running a department in private industry, and I was approached by management above my pay grade, and I was told to lay off certain people within my department. And I was indignant. And I said, wait a minute, I've got a budget, and you want me to cut the budget? Yes. Well, shouldn't I be the one to decide who I'm letting go? Not somebody else? It was very similar. It was somebody who was making recommendations to the CEO and gave the CEO the names of the people who they thought I ought to lay off. And I thought, well, you can play the numbers game and say that I have to cut the budget, but you're not in a position to tell me who I should let go, who I need the most, who's contributing the most. If I'm running the department, that's my decision to make. And I pushed back, and I was successful because he was going to lose me as the head of that department right at that moment. That's how strong